Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Apologists. We are now about to pull in our first witness in this case 3, and I'm pretty sure it's probably Emma, cause detectives. Oh, yep, there we go. 2 cases before we get our detective. I'm pretty sure Gumshoe showed up in the second case, in the older game. Your name and profession, please. Emma Skye. I'm a detective for the police department. I was on security detail at the concert forum that night. Emma seems tired somehow. Security at the concert, you say? Some security I was. Couldn't even stop a murder. Now don't blame yourself. Things like this happen. I've made even bigger mistakes in my career, you know. I'm sure that makes her feel much better. I want to hear about these bigger mistakes. In any case, because you were on security detail, the crime was quickly discovered, and we were able to identify the killer. You may give the court your testimony, if you would. Describe the circumstances of that day and your discovery of the crime, please. Alright. Murderous circumstances. The night of the murder, I was on security backstage at Prosecutor Gavin's request. Only people involved with the concert in some way were allowed backstage. At the beginning of the third set, I heard shots. I went into the room, filled with blaring rock music, and found the body. I examined the scene and determined that only the defendant could have done it. How? It was lucky that a detective was the first on the scene. But that door was the only way out of the room, right? Yeah, pretty much. Then I don't get it. How can they say that Machi did it? Looks like we need a bit more information. Very well, the defense may begin the cross-examination. Will do, Judge, will do. I'm about to say, sir. Pressing on everything! The night of the murder was the night of the concert, yes? That's right. What was the detective doing on security detail, might I ask? If it was only a concert. My thoughts exactly. But orders are orders, even when they come from rock gods. Prosecutor Gavin? Yes, allow me to explain. I smelled something that day, you might say. The stench of conspiracy. That day at the concert hall. Conspiracy? Well, isn't it obvious? My keys, that whole morning. No, the whole day was ruined. And it's all because someone stole my keys. I couldn't ride my hog to the show. I couldn't open my guitar case. There he goes again. Isn't it possible he simply misplaced them? Misplaced them? Misplaced items don't just wander into a murder victim's hand on their own. What's this? Prosecutor Gavin, if your keys were in the victim's hand, that makes you a prime suspect. He's just gonna rocket chill, man. Love, slow acting, and new Atroquien is waiting for you. He's singing something. Does everything with this guy have to be so over the top? The killing happened in the middle of my concert. I was, like a sailor, adrift on the sea of sound. Anyway, I didn't want anything else stolen. So I put the detective with the most time on their hands on the task. I see. I can accept that. Well, I can't. What do you mean time on... Please, the testimony. Poor Emma. We were let in, though. I didn't know about that. I certainly didn't invite you. I gave the Frolin special permission to be there. I've wanted to see her again. Oh boy, did you hear that? We're officially involved now. Gee, great. Some other hanger-ons tried to get backstage, but I drove them off. So no other outsiders were there then. And then... I believe we were having a chat when we heard the shots. You were the one chatting. I was eating snackoos. Oh, hey! No snacking in court! And you're sure the shots came from Lamar's room? Yes, absolutely. Hey, I'm the one being cross-examined here. Here, this'll keep you quiet. Katonk. thanks. So, about how about it, Emma? You were right there. Hard to be mistaken about that.
Please, either talk or eat, not both at the same time.
Right, so after that, me and Mr. Lawyer there opened the dressing room door. Rock? Blaring, yes.
When you say rock, are you referring perhaps to this rock and roll music that's so popular these days?
That's right, we went into the dressing room. Music was blaring over the speaker on the wall. They piped sound from the stage into the backstage through the speakers. That way people in the back can hear when they're supposed to be on stage. Did it have to be so loud?
You don't listen to the Gaviniers with your ears. You feel it with your entire body and soul. I've always have the backstage monitors at full volume.
When we walked in the room, the band was playing Guilty Love, I believe, making it easy to determine the time of the crime.
If you could hear that music playing, then everyone on stage for that song has an alibi, including myself.
Anyway, I closed off the scene and started my investigation. How could you know something like that? As I said, it was clear from the circumstances. Listen, we know there was only one exit from the room, that door. The small window only opens a small crack. And I was standing in front of that door. So, how could the killer have fled the scene? There's only one possibility, the air vent. Oh! But that air vent was too small! Who could possibly... Exactly. There's certainly no way you could get through, nor me. The only one who could fit through was a child. A child. Remember, access to those rooms was limited. Only those involved with the concert were allowed. And of all the people involved with the concert, only one is small enough to be considered a child.
The defendant!
The pixie of the arpeggio. I will get this, hopefully. The pixie of the arpeggio flitted up towards the sky and disappeared from the scene of the crime. But that's just conjecture.
Oh, there was no other way out of that room. You were there. You should know, Herr Forehead.
And there's another vital piece of evidence. Evidence? What? Marks were found on the air vent grill. Traces that it had recently been opened. Wait, what? And something else was found quite clearly. The defendant, Machitabae's fingerprints. What? What?
Order! Order! Order!
The air vent was the only way out of the room. The defendant's fingerprints were found on the grill. Well, Herr Forehead, what fairy tale does this suggest to you? Ugh. Only one could pass through that vent, that doorway to heaven. And that one is our pixie. Why are you looking at me, Apollo? Hey, I was out whooping it up in the audience. So this was his decisive evidence.
Quite decisive indeed. I believe that's enough of that. The prosecution has a rather convincing case. The only way in and out of the crime scene was watched, making the defendant the only one who could possibly leave the scene. Simply and decisively.
Ugh.
I believe we've heard enough to determine our verdict, even if I wasn't in a hurry to make a hospital visit.
I'm sure the Chief Justice will appreciate the gesture. Unfortunately, we have no direct witnesses. Fortunately, the criminal left decisive evidence for us. And that would have to be enough. Ugh, it can't be over already.
Very well, I believe this trial is finished. If the defense has no contradicting evidence.
The prosecution has presented our proof clear and plain. If you have contradicting evidence, it better be clear and plain. Apollo, they've got us on the ropes already. We better come up with something quick. I know. Think, what can get us out of this? We need evidence, or a witness that can prove Machi is innocent beyond a doubt. Without that... Ugh.
Mr. Justice, do you have contradicting proof that can overturn the prosecution's case? If you do, you better tell us about it now.
This is it, and so soon. If I mess this one up, it's all over. The court wants contradicting proof?
Are we presenting evidence? Are we calling a witness? I don't have proof? That would be very unfortunate. We're going to call a witness.
Prosecutor Gavin, you claim that there were no witnesses to this crime. Are you absolutely sure?
Absolutely. I swear it on my career as a prosecutor. And on my million-selling hit song, Atroquin, My Love.
There he goes again. That's too bad, because there was a witness.
Ho-ho, really now? But how did you come to possess knowledge the prosecution clearly does not?
Because I'm the only one in the world who knows this. What's going on? I just talked to him now. He's alive. Mr. Latouche, can you hear me?
Cold. So cold. Witness.
You're cold? Don't worry, you're going to be fine. Help is on the way.
Can't see.
Hang in there, Mr. Latouche. Tell me, who was the witness?
Witness. Siren. What? The victim said this before he died.
Perhaps he did, and perhaps he did not. What do you mean by that?
Well, all we know is what Herr Forehead says he said. It's no testimony, especially since it comes from the defense attorney himself.
But it's the truth. He said it. I even told you about it. But apparently you ignored me completely.
It's my policy to fully investigate everything I deem relevant. Clearly this rookie lawyer thinks he can tell me how to do my job. That's enough! Mr. Justice, we need clear contradictory proof from you. This witness of yours, unknown to the prosecution. I hope you're right. Failure carries a stiff penalty. Perhaps a stiffer penalty than usual is called for.
Wow, thanks! Look, there's no backing out now.
Let's hear the name of your witness, Mr. Justice. Our witness is Miss Lamiroir. Lamiroir?
Recall Mr. Latouche's last words.
The witness is Siren. The Siren? Aha! He meant the Siren!
That's right, the siren of the ballad. Lamiroir. Lamiroir was only on stage for the second set, and she had access to the backstage area. She could have been a witness.
I see. Well, Prosecutor Gavin, my claim still stands. There was no witness to this crime. Very well. Let's hear it from the horse's mouth then, shall we? We will now take a break from Detective Emma Sky's cross-examination. Please, show Lamiroir to the witness stand.
Lamiroir would say nothing the night of the murder. Not today, though. Today we'll drag that story out of her no matter what it is.
It is my distinct honor to welcome the siren of the ballad to our courtroom.
You are too kind.
Ah, you can speak English.
Yes, I can. Though I am not very good. There is much I do not know.
You speak so well. Have you spent time here before?
Actually, I do not know how I came by my knowledge of your language, nor where I studied it.
What does she mean? She doesn't know?
I too thought to call her as a witness, but I did not. I had the reason, of course.
What's that?
Lamiroir suffers from amnesia. Amnesia?
Lamiroir is not my true name. Yet I remember nothing of the time before I was given it. Nothing of the time before I started singing on stage.
Whoa, she's even more mysterious than I thought.
As Lord Singer Lamiroir, she lives a good life. There are little difficulties for her, thanks to her success. Yet, I did not wish to subject her to unnecessary stress. I see. I care surprisingly little about people's past. You have nothing to fear in this court, Lamiroir.
Thank you. Yet, there is something I do not understand. I am being called as a witness? What might I say? No one will tell me anything of what happened.
Lamiroir, let me be frank. I did not want to ask you up here to testify. Yet that young gentleman with the wide forehead over there was adamant that you stand.
Oh my!
Congratulations, Apollo! You're the bad guy.
Ugh. Well, now that you're here, please give us your testimony. If nothing else, the sound of your voice is welcome. Tell us what you saw the night of the crime. What I saw.
As for what I saw nothing. That night, I was invited to sing on stage, and this I did. I did not return backstage after the second set. Then I was led by the police to Mr. Gavan's dressing room and told to wait there. That was where I learned that something had happened, but I wasn't told the details.
I must say, you sound wonderful just testifying.
I hope he was too distracted to hear what she was actually saying.
There you have it. She saw nothing that night. Now we can only pray that the defense has the sense to admit defeat, and refrain from detaining her here longer than need be.
Wow, you just got better. You just got better, Apollo. Way to go.
Very well, Mr. Justice. Keep it short and sweet.
Mar wouldn't talk to me the night of the crime. She must know something, and I've got to find out what.
We're gonna press everything! Let's go! Whoops. My bad. Didn't mean to do that. Pushing the wrong buttons.
But you must have seen something. Mr. Latouche named you.
Mr. Latouche, how can I tell you what I don't know?
Lamiroir, he said you were a witness with his dying words.
I do not know what he meant to say, but that night...
It was a great concert.
You heard me sing? Thank you.
I was hoping to get an autograph later, actually. Oh!
Of course.
Mr. Justice, this is a cross-examination. You're out of line. If anyone deserves an autograph here, it's me. One of my gavel would be nice. Herr Judge. Whoa, what's this? It's my autograph. Now keep this trial moving. What? What? Oh, my grandchild will be so happy.
Apparently his grandson is a big fan.
Let us continue, shall we? If you would, Lamiroir. Tell us what you did after your stellar performance.
You did not return backstage once? Where were you then? What were you doing?
I was cleaning up on stage. There are many things I must do for a performance other than simply sing.
And was Machi with you at the time?
Unfortunately, I do not know where he was.
So much for an alibi for Machi. With Machi, correct? How was he then?
He seemed as he always does. Though I believe he was shocked by the news of Mr. Latouche's death. Yet, he is not the type to show much emotion.
Yes, he's given the police no end of headaches. He answers most questions with silence, and those glinting frames speak nothing. The questioning hasn't gotten very far.
We sat there, waiting.
How was the incident explained to you?
I was told nothing in detail, only that Mr. Latouche died.
Of course, investigations require some security.
But Mr. Latouche was my manager. I wanted to know more. I should have been told. Both Meowzy and I were beside ourselves with concern.
Allow me to apologize, but please understand. Keeping you in the dark was as painful for me as it was for you.
Yes, I understand.
Think, what doesn't ring true about her testimony? It's hard to imagine Lamiroir lying. She might not be lying, but she's hiding something. What wouldn't she tell me that the night of the murder?
Alright, now that we presented everything. Pressed everything, we're gonna go ahead and present now. She says she didn't return backstage, but what about this brooch that we found?
I'm sorry, Lamiroir, but I'm having trouble believing you. You remember this brooch, do you not? Why, that's Lamiroir's. She was wearing it for her song. Care to add that to the testimony, Prosecutor Gavin?
What?
This brooch was found after the murder took place, at the very scene of the crime.
What?
Lamiroir, how did your brooch get backstage if you did not go there yourself? And as Prosecutor Gavin has just told us, you had been wearing it during your performance that night.
What is the meaning of this? Lamiroir, please explain.
Lamiroir?
Engels is zeer lastig.
God damn it. She says English is quite difficult. That trick's not gonna work here.
Je voorhoofd mag groot zijn, maar je bent nog steeds maar een advocaat. Je hebt één belangrijk feit gemist.
Your forehead may be large, but you are a lawyer, truly. But you have missed one important fact. What now?
Ten tijde van het incident ben ik backstage gegaan, maar alleen voor een moment.
In fact, at the time of the incident, I went backstage, but only for a moment. What?
Denk terug naar het moment van de misdaad. Je weet waar ik het over heb.
Think back to the moment of the crime. You know whereof I speak. Is she really saying all that? What's she talking about, Apollo? Right when the incident occurred. Ah! Is she talking about that? Watch this room for me. I have to call for backup. Right, understood. Want me to make sure no one comes in, right? Mr. Latouche, can you hear me?
Cold. So cold. Witness.
You're cold? Don't worry, you're going to be fine. Help is on the way.
I'm getting tired of reading these same lines. The witness is Siren.
Siren? How can a siren witness anything? Yipes! Emma? What was that? Who's there? What's wrong? Emma, did you see anyone just now? Huh? No? I could have sworn I heard a door close.
I looked into the room. Just a glance, mind you.
So this was when your brooch dropped. That explains that.
It does. There was no other time I could have dropped it.
But that's ridiculous! You only look in for an instant, but you drop your brooch? Her forehead. She has raised a possibility. The only thing that can counter that is evidence.
so she looked in at the crime scene.
Actually, I intended to go into the dressing room. I knew nothing of what had happened, of course. But the moment I opened the door, I heard a horrible voice.
Herr Forehead shouting, "Who's there?" No doubt. A horrible voice indeed. Ugh.
I closed the door immediately.
Well, that explains the brooch. Let's return to your testimony.
That's too convenient. She's hiding something. Lamiroir, you did look into the room though, right?
Yes,
Testify as to what you saw.
very well, though it was only the briefest of glimpses. When my performance was finished, I went backstage for just a moment.
Oops.
I saw nothing. The late Mr. Latusse's body was behind a wall.
A wall? Was there a wall there?
Scheiding is what in English?
A division, or partition, I believe. It was a large dressing room divided into two halves. And the murder took place in the inside half. I guess that partition might have hidden the body.
Alright, we're going back to that one because I notice our perceiving... fast forward. My bad. We're going back because if you've noticed, our perceiving bracelet is now up, so I'm assuming we're going to be perceiving this part because something seems off here. I believe we're also looking into her neck. Yes, we are. There it is.
The late Mr. Latusse's body, you say?
Yes?
You know something more about Mr. Latusse's death than you are saying.
What?
I could see you trying not to remember, but the effort made you swallow. You can't fool my eyes.
It is true. It was so terrible after all. Why did Mr. Latusse have to be shot?
One moment, Lamiroir.
Yes?
What was that you just said? Why did Mr. Latusse have to be shot?
Yes?
She was hiding something. I knew it. Lamiroir, I'm afraid you haven't realized it, but...
I apologize, there was background noises. I had to cut some stuff, that's why there's a weird skip here.
Your words just now contradicts your testimony.
How could that be?
Take this. Lamiroir contradicted her own testimony, and I have the evidence to prove it.
The investigation request.
Tell me, Lamiroir, how did you know he had been shot?
Well,
Immediately following the incident, a gag order was placed on the scene. This is the document proving that. In your testimony, you told the court, "No one told me anything about the incident." Furthermore, you testified that you had seen nothing. Yet you knew that Mr. Latusse had been shot. How could you have known?
Yuck!
The mystery thickens. For a mysterious singer. Lamiroir, you aren't hiding something from this court, I hope.
That sweet song of hers was sounding a little too sweet.
Now I remember. Please, allow me to add to my testimony.
Of course. All we want to know is the truth. I am so sorry, everyone. I guess we're just gonna stop it here for now, because I don't want to continue this and keep stopping and cutting, because it's not fun for anybody. I apologize. I wasn't really expecting anybody to show up anytime soon. But, you know, that's just how circumstances happen. I guess they came back early. So, we're gonna stop here and continue on in the next video, hopefully with less interruptions. See you guys then.